Hi everyone, welcome to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for tuning in for the Noontime Friday show as we get your weekend started early here. And as we do most Fridays, kick off with former state representative, former Deputy Secretary of State, now heads up Stages of Freedom, Ray Rickman, to give us Big View.
Thank you, Kate. Every week I have the same problem. I have 10 issues I want to talk about, and always in the top 2 or 3 is Donald Trump. And I just don't want to talk about Donald Trump. He takes too much of my day. I go home and I watch cable, and there he is doing something bad. And unlike Nixon or unlike George Bush II, they would do something bad every 10 days. He does something bad every 10 hours. It's like unbelievable. And sometimes the bads are so bad, but the public barely notices because they're still stuck with whatever went on yesterday, criminal acts and the like. So what did he do bad just now? In South Africa, the government has decided that they are going to take unused land from white residents, citizens of South Africa, or white, are 8% of the population, and they own 90% of the farmland. 90%. And let me be candid, because someone will do their little research and say, they only own 70% of the farms. Well, you can own 70% of the farms, and you own all the big farms, so you own 90% of all the farmland. So the government says if you're not using it, if you weren't using it on July 1, 2018, they're going to take it from you, and they're going to give it to black South Africans who want to farm and can't afford farmland or can't buy farmland. It's very hard to buy farmland in South Africa because, surprise, surprise, the white owners will not sell it to black people. Now, by the way, in South Africa, some people have been farmers for 150 years. So it's not as if there's a piece of farmland for sale in your region every day. It generally isn't. So it's a tough kind of environment to get yourself a piece of land. The estimate is 7 to 18% of farmland owned by whites is not farmed. And so that is what the government will be taking and giving to blacks to farm. Now, let me go back for a history lesson for you. The white folks show up from Europe and they take all the farmland in South Africa from black people, and they take land that has not been farmed. This has been going on for 200 years. And stopped in 1988. They just took it. Less than 1% of farmland was paid for. Now, Americans, you know the story. It's the same as what Europeans did to Native Americans in America. Just took their land. Took Cape Cod, okay? So, we have exceptions. Roger Williams bought a little land. Donald Trump says that this is one of the worst things in the history of the world, and that white farmers are being killed. Well, as you probably know, South Africa has a pretty bad murder rate, and 18,000 people last year killed in that country. So the murder rate's right up there. It's the 3rd worst in the world. I put this in writing so that I would not mess up. Of the 18,000 people killed, 47 were white farmers, and not necessarily the owners. And in more than half the cases, it's unclear who killed who. So someone white could have killed half the... People have disputes. They have disputes with their neighbors or with someone they owe money. And in South Africa, it's like the old West in America. You better be careful who you get in a fight with, because sometimes people bring a gun to a fist fight. Donald Trump should be ashamed of himself. And again, the whole world is watching as he's telling a lie, accusing the government of South Africa of doing something horrendous when in fact they're doing something rather moderate. Moderate. Moderate, Donald Trump.